Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Health Made Easy. This is your host, Dr. Jason Jones, and I hope you caught last week's episode where we talked about blood tests for inflammation, because what we're going to talk about today will go along with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss what are the best and worst foods to eat that drive inflammation. Now, before we get into this topic, you guys know, if you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, that I am a huge believer in what's called bio-individuality, which means one man's food is another man's poison. So one person could eat an organic apple and it could be the best anti-inflammatory thing they could ever put in their mouth, and another person could eat an organic apple, the exact same one, and it actually could cause them to have inflammation. So take it with a grain of salt, but understand that these are the more common foods that are good and or bad for driving inflammation. Now, inflammation is one of the ways that your body protects itself from foreign invaders. So it's not always negative. It's a normal response of the body. So it helps defend the body from things like illness. But sometimes, you may experience inflammation even without a foreign invader, and that's why it's linked to things like increased risk of diseases like heart disease, diabetes, obesity. So you can easily say inflammation can be both bad and good depending on the situation. However, one interesting thing is that your diet influences inflammation in your body in a huge way. Some foods have anti-inflammatory effects, and you can add them to your diet to reduce the risk of illness. Some other foods can also trigger and worsen inflammation. Hence, it's important to note that these types of foods, so that you can combat inflammation effectively, especially when it persists day in and day out, also avoid the ones that will drive inflammation in the body. So here are some anti-inflammatory foods that you can add to your diet. Number one, and these are in no particular order, berries. Berries are loaded with minerals, vitamins, fiber, antioxidants, and these antioxidants help fight inflammation and reduce your risk of developing particular diseases. Some types of berries that you can add to your diet include strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. Next one is broccoli. Broccoli is a highly nutritious vegetable that contains antioxidants like sulforaphane, which offer anti-inflammatory effects. Several studies have shown that eating cruciferous vegetables like broccoli have been associated with reduced risk of cancer and diseases. Fatty fish. Fatty fish contains omega-3 fatty acids such as EPA and DHA, which you could listen to on a previous podcast. We dove deep into that. But basically, they help reduce inflammation, which can lead to things like heart disease, metabolic syndrome, kidney disease, and diabetes. Listen, omega-3 essential fatty acids or essentially the omega-3s that come from a high-quality pharmaceutical grade, not a pharmaceutical, but a pharmaceutical grade fish oil, are so good for so many things. Literally everybody should be taking them. Basically, your body metabolizes omega-3 fatty acids to yield these sort of what are called protectins and resolvins, and these compounds have been studied to show anti-inflammatory effects. Now, other good foods that help fight inflammation are things like green tea, avocados, mushrooms, had some of those last night, peppers, turmeric, grapes, dark chocolate, extra virgin olive oil, cherries, and also tomatoes. Now, what are the worst foods that you can eat that drive inflammation? Now, I'm going to talk more in terms of categories than anything else. So in addition to eating nutritious anti-inflammatory foods, it is also important to avoid and limit the consumption of those that promote inflammation, like added sugar. Added sugar is one of the major contributors to inflammation because it increases your risk of developing chronic diseases like diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. And you can find these sugars in sneaky places. I mean, things like salad dressings, soft drinks, cookies, cakes, chocolates, sweets, pastries, candy, and savory snacks. Here's a good thing for you to do. Go on to one of your favorite restaurants, go and you go out to eat and you're just like, I'm going to be healthy and I'm just going to eat salads when I go out to eat. And that's a good idea. But if you go on to the website or if you can find the nutrition facts on those salads that you eat, out at restaurants, some of those things are like 1,200 calories, 1,500 calories, 1,800 calories. And it's because of the amount of sugar and other like bad oils that are in the salad dressing. It's like the vegetables and everything that are on there are fine. It's just the salad dressings are terrible. So really be aware of that. The next one is going to be refined carbohydrates. So refined carbohydrates have a low amount of fiber due to processing, and they have been studied to, basically elicit a quicker and greater effect on your blood sugar. Because remember, if your blood sugar goes up, and it stays up, that will drive inflammation. So basically, the fiber and carbs help improve blood sugar control, promote fullness, and feed beneficial gut bacteria. But eating foods that are primarily composed of refined grains or flour, including pasta, bread, white rice, crackers, they put a trigger on inflammation and increase the risk of things like type 2 diabetes, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Other worse foods that drive inflammation, depending on where you get them from, red meat can do it, and processed meat can do it. But again, if you're eating, grass-fed beef from an appropriate source, it can actually be an anti-inflammatory. Trans fats such as margarine, partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, partially fractionated vegetable oil. Most vegetable oils are absolutely terrible for you. And I think they're probably worse for driving inflammation even than sugar is. Fried foods such as fried chicken, donuts, French fries, egg rolls, mozzarella sticks. Listen, I love all those things. They all taste amazing. But the thing is, there are ways to make these foods and make the foods that you like, and you never have to give them up. But there's ways to do it in a more healthy way. Just look up those things, check those things out, learn how to make your favorite recipes in an appropriate way, and you will be so glad that you did. So I hope this helped you out. This is Dr. Jason Jones signing out. But if this did help you, or do you think of anybody that this can help, share this podcast with them. I would appreciate it very much, and we'll see you guys on the next one. See you later. Bye-bye.